So thank you very much, Doc Hildy, and good morning, everyone. I am Ronald John Lamano, and I'm here to present to you my thesis research under the BS Agriculture program of UPLB entitled Chemical, Functional, and Sensory Qualities of Mozzarella Cheeses made from combinations of buffalo's milk and reconstituted skim milk. It was published in the Philippine Journal of Veterinary and Animal Science in 2013. So this presentation aims to introduce the development of a reduced fat mozzarella cheese from combinations of buffalo's milk and reconstituted skim milk. This is to show you the effects of the combinations on the chemical and functional properties of reduced fat mozzarella cheeses, as well as present the effects of the combinations on the sensory qualities and consumer acceptability of reduced fat mozzarella cheeses. Okay, in a study conducted by Davide, Sarmago, and Rocafort in 1993, reduced fat mozzarella cheese exhibited good to excellent uh, performance, giving acceptable functional properties such as melting characteristics and stretchability properties. So these functional properties are very significant in the pizza industry, with mozzarella as the main ingredient. In this study, they have developed mozzarella cheese from whole cow's milk and mozzarella cheese from partial skimming of cow's milk. And it was found out to be acceptable in improving the functional properties of mozzarella cheeses as shown in the figures where the melting and stretchability properties have shown good to excellent performance. However, the study was not able to assess the sensory and consumer acceptability of reduced fat mozzarella cheeses, as well as the use of other type of milk from ruminants, such as buffalo or goat. The reason for the author to conduct the study on the buffalo's milk, as well as the partial skimming of buffalo's milk with reconstituted skim milk. So how can we develop reduced fat mozzarella cheeses? So reduced fat mozzarella cheeses can be developed by partially skimming or substituting buffalo's milk with reconstituted skim milk. As you can see, these are the products of fat reduction in cheeses. First is the product of my thesis research. The others are local and important brands known by cheese lovers. So to reduce fat content, reconstituted skim milk is made by adding water to skim milk powder. In this study, we are using 12% reconstituted skim milk or RSM. And if we are to use 1 liter of RSM, 12 grams of skim milk powder will be mixed with 880 ml distilled water. There's no specific brand for this. So, yeah po. It's
120 yun.
actually, yes po. It's obtained from the Philippine Carabao Center as well with the Dairy Training and Research Institute. Okay, so combinations of buffalo's milk and reconstituted skim milk, or we know as BM, buffalo's milk, and RSM as reconstituted skim milk, were tested in the study. 100% BM serves as the control treatment or treatment 1, 80 to 20 combination serves as a treatment 2, 70-30 is the treatment 3, and 60-40 as the treatment 4. So just to give you a um, the flow diagram of the study here, mozzarella cheeses were prepared using the standardized processing procedures for mozzarella cheeses. As I have said, I have 4 treatments. These are the cheese milks that were prepared during the study. So I have 4 different treatments. So if I want 5 liters of cheese milk for treatment 1, I'll have 5 liters of 100% buffalo's milk. For treatment 2, since that is 80 to 20, I'll have 4 liters of buffalo's milk as well as 1 liters of reconstituted skim milk. For treatment 3, that is 70-30, that will be 3.5 liters of pure buffalo's milk and 1.5 liters of reconstituted skim milk. Then the last treatment will be 60-40 with 3 liters of buffalo's milk and 2 liters of reconstituted skim milk. Okay, so as I have said, I have the standard processing procedure for cheese making. So we start with pasteurization. So the cheese milk was pasteurized at 72 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. It is then immediately cooled to 32 degrees Celsius. When the desired temperature was reached, 1.5 mesophilic bacterial starter was added just to be informed kung ano po yung addition, kung ano po yung starter. The starter that was used during the study is Flora danica. It is actually a mesophilic bacterial starter. Then acidity was allowed to develop for 15 minutes. Diluted acetic acid was gradually added to the cheese milk. Then uh, rennet is also added. So these are added for the coagulation process. So we'll have a product of a coagulum, and it will be formed after 7 minutes, and it will be cut. It was cut into one half in cubes and allowed to settle for 30 minutes. Then it was stirred for every 10 minutes. The curd patties were then sliced into portions and were immersed in water heated at about 82 degrees Celsius. After which the hot curd was molded. Uh, then it was brined. Afterwards, these are packed and stored at 10 degrees Celsius. That is, well, the cooling process. In this study, I have three batches. So the first batch of processing was to be done before proceeding to the next batches or the second and third batches. So cheese samples obtained were used for chemical and functional tests, sensory analysis, and consumer acceptability tests. So for chemical analysis, I have Gerber fat test for fat, the moisture method for moisture that is from the AOAC methods, Keldal protein test for protein, indirect Bolhard method for salt, and calorie using the calorimeter. For functional analysis, it is, as I have said earlier, this is the stretchability and meltability properties of the mozzarella cheeses. So a modified fork test method was done during the study. As for sensory analysis, a linear scale method based on Mabesa et al. Was used for the study, just to know if it's really acceptable, extremely acceptable, or extremely not acceptable. And for consumer acceptability, a 7-point hedonic scale was done. So the last, okay, so with this analysis, data will be gathered, or data were gathered for chemical composition, functional properties, and sensory analysis. And these are subjected to analysis of variance. And if it was found to have significant differences among treatments, it is compared using Bonferroni-Danti test. Then all the data were analyzed using the SAS version 9.1. For consumer acceptability, it's basically the use of descriptive statistics where means and standard deviations were computed. Okay. For the results of the study, here, increased skimming produced reduced fat mozzarella cheeses, where it was found out that partial substitution of RSM caused a significant difference in the fat content of the cheese samples, particularly between the pure buffalo's milk and 60% buffalo's milk combined with 40 reconstituted skim milk. The results show that the decrease in fat content could be attributed to the addition of reconstituted skim milk. It was also reported by Davide, by Van Lier, and Shaquille Rehman that the decrease in fat content could be attributed to the loss in fat during the hot stretching in the curd, as presented earlier in the procedure for making the cheeses. With the apparent increase in water content of the cheese milk, there was more melted fat that was left in the whey. So despite the significant difference on fat content of the experimental mozzarella cheeses, the calorie content as well as moisture, protein, and salt did not differ significantly among treatments. Um, However, can still be seen in salt that they are expected to be at the same level because it is that uh, during the process, similar brining conditions were conducted or provided. Okay. Low fat content contributed to low stretchability of mozzarella cheese with reconstituted skim milk or RSM. So stretchability of mozzarella from buffalo's milk combined with different levels of RSM was found to be significantly lower than those from pure buffalo's milk. A similar trend was noted on the rating for stretchability for sensory panelists. This could be attributed to the lower fat content of the mozzarella with RSM, and this could be due to the melted fats in heated mozzarella acting as lubricant it occurred for the cheese to be stretched. The decreased fat content of the mozzarella cheese lessened lubrication in the heated curd, thus the stretchability was decreased for those cheeses with addition of reconstituted skim milk or partial skimming of reconstituted skim milk. So here also, there were no significant differences on the melting ability of the mozzarella produced from different combinations of buffalo's milk and also 12% RSM. It was observed, however, that mozzarella from 80-20, 70-30, as well as 60-40 had higher meltability values. Although there's no statistical difference that was found or detected, it can be assumed that the higher melting ability of the mozzarella with RSM could be due to the softer curd of the cheese and lower total solids of the cheese milk. So mozzarella cheese made from different combinations of buffalo's milk and reconstituted skim milk were acceptable based on the sensory analysis of 12 experts. So 12 experts were invited to do the sensory analysis of different mozzarella cheeses made from combinations of BM and also RSM. And in the study, no significant differences were found on the sensory ratings for the mozzarella cheese's appearance, aroma, flavor, aftertaste, stretchability, and general acceptability. So the results, although there's no significant differences, it may imply that the sensory properties of mozzarella were not affected by the partial substitution of buffalo's milk with 20, 30, and 40% of 12% reconstituted skim milk. So mozzarella with good sensory qualities could be produced from different combinations of buffalo's milk and 12% reconstituted skim milk. For the consumer acceptability, the preference of the 112 consumers for the product was not influenced by age, sex, occupation, or type of cheese consumed. So in the study, hedonic 7-point hedonic scale was used, wherein 7 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. So mozzarella cheese with varying levels of RSM had higher acceptability scores than with the cheese produced from pure buffalo's milk. The results imply that buffalo's milk with 20, 30, and 40% of 12% reconstituted skim milk could be used to produce highly marketable cheese. In summary, increased skimming produced reduced fat mozzarella cheese. Low fat content contributed to low stretchability of mozzarella cheeses with reconstituted skim milk. Mozzarella cheese made from different combinations of buffalo's milk and reconstituted skim milk were acceptable based on the sensory analysis of 12 experts. And as for the 112 consumers, their preference for the product was not influenced by age, sex, occupation, or type of cheese consumed. Therefore, it can be concluded from the study that reduced fat mozzarella cheeses can be developed and can be accepted by the market. With that, thank you very much.